Hi guys, it's me, and I am here today to show you guys how I make my baby food. I did a kind of a video, I think, making some baby food with our new food processor, our Cuisinart Prep 11 or Cup 11, whatever it's called, food processor, I think a few months ago. I will link that video up here or up here somewhere if you guys want to see that too. But I had a lot of requests after posting a picture on my Facebook page yesterday of all the baby food that I made last night, you know, if I could do a video showing how I made it. So I already made tons of baby food. Like, I don't think I need to make baby food for a while if we have all of those stocked up and then all of those stocked up. So, but you know, I understand that people, like, I know that I had to do a lot of research on how to make baby food because it seems like it should be so simple, and really it is really simple, but I think we psych ourselves out in thinking that it's more difficult than it has to be. So I actually went to wholesomebabyfoods.com, and they have awesome recipes for basically any type of food that you would think of, or vegetable or fruit or age range. So what I did was I wanted to start introducing chicken or meat to Kaya because she is almost 10 months old. Well, no, she's just turned 9 months, like on the 19th. I wanted to start introducing chicken to her. She's kind of snobby when it comes to food. Like, she doesn't like any type of green vegetable. So right now I'm really trying to work on mixing other vegetables or fruits in with the green ones to get her to like them. It's not because of the taste of them, but it's the texture. Like fresh green beans and like fresh broccoli, it doesn't matter how much I process them, they still have those little chunks in them or little grainy bits in them, and I think it bothers her. Like, I try all the food before I give it to her, because if I'm not willing to eat it, I shouldn't expect her to eat. Because I do that, I understand that like broccoli and the green beans are a little bit like feel weird at the back of the throat, so I'm gonna hold off on those until she's probably like 10 or 11 months, where I can just steam them really soft and then she can just hand feed herself with them. So what I've been doing is I've been doing different mixtures of carrots and butternut squash and apples and peaches and pears and sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, and my doctor said that that's okay for her since she is still breastfeeding. But like I said, I wanted to start adding chicken, so what I did was I googled chicken baby recipes, and of course wholesomebabyfoods.com had what I was looking for. Some of the mixtures that I made last night were like sweet potatoes, butternut squash, applesauce, and chicken, or sweet potatoes and just chicken, or carrots and sweet potatoes and chicken, or butternut squash and carrots and chicken. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of get the drift. I just added like different types of vegetables together with the chicken. Something also that I did, hold on a second, John found my Gorillapod. Whee! Whoops. Okay, now you guys are on the Gorillapod, which is a little bit easier for me for when I start showing you guys the other stuff. So I try to do different combinations of the vegetables with the chicken, and then I also added some fruits like peaches or pears, just so that way I don't have to feed her or make separate meals, if that makes sense. So I just do like a little bit of fruit with a bunch of vegetables and chicken in one dish, so that way I can just feed her that and that be that. I'm going to show you guys how to make one type of baby food because I, like I said and just showed you, made tons of it last night, which is why I look so tired right now. I was up till like 1 o'clock cleaning up. I made tons of baby food already, so I really don't need to make any more, but I did want to show you guys how I made it because so many of you asked, and you know, you ask and you receive, and that is why this video is kind of janky, because I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. First off, what you're gonna need, if you're gonna make a big bulk batch of food, I would suggest baking the vegetables and fruit, or just the vegetables, sorry. So like what I did last night was I sliced the butternut squash in half, and then I poked holes in 2 sweet potatoes, and then I diced up and peeled some carrots, these carrots. And then I laid them in 2 9x13 glass Pyrex pans. They don't have to be glass, I don't think. You could probably just use regular deep dished 9x13 pans, and then I covered them in water. I probably added about 2 inches of water to each pan, and then I put them in, I laid the butternut squash. I'll just insert a picture in this so that you can see what I'm talking about, but I laid the butternut squash face down, and then I put them in the oven that was set at 400 degrees for an hour, and then I just left it to bake. I've done this twice now, and it works really, really well. After that, I pulled everything out. I pulled them out of their pans and let them cool. I peeled the yams, sweet potatoes, whatever you want to call them. And because they were so heated so nicely, the skin just like fell off of them. It's really easy, you'll see. But I cut them lengthwise first, and then I just they just like plopped out. With the butternut squash, like I said, that should just peel off as well, the skin, and then you just chop them up, and then they're really nice to puree. Carrots should, if you dice them down small enough, they should be soft enough too for a food processor. Like I said, I use a food processor, so I'm not sure if you need to cook them longer, if you're going to use like a blender or like a weaker motored baby blender, so you might want to like check into that. I'm not sure, but that's what I do when I'm doing bulk baby food. That would be baking. What I'm going to show you is how to steam stuff, because if you're just making a little batch, or for whatever reason you just want to make one meal, you can use your stovetop to do that. So what I have right now is I have these Bolthouse Farm carrots, just plain carrots. I have this chicken. I got the Simple Truth because it's raised cage-free and fed an all-vegetarian diet, and it's just no, antibiotics and all this other junk. It's, it's good for you, I guess. You can get these. These were 3 for $5 and something cents. I bought all of my vegetables. I'll insert a picture of everything that I did last night. I got all of that stuff for less than $15 because the chicken for 3 breasts was about $5, which you could probably find, if you didn't do organic and stuff, you could probably find cheaper chicken, but like I said, I just wanted something that was healthy. Or you can do turkey too. But I got everything for under $15, and I made, I think, 28 batches of baby food. So I think that's pretty great. So these are individually wrapped, which I really like. So there's that. So I have that chicken. I have some all-natural Musselman's applesauce. There's no sugar added. It's just basically apples and then water and ascorbic acid, which is just vitamin C. So I use this to kind of sweeten up the dishes. Also, I find that applesauce is really nice if you're not breastfeeding your baby, which I am, but Kaya kind of gets backed up when she's on solids. So I like to add either a pear or an apple or applesauce to her solids, so that, because it's a natural, what do you call it? Laxative. John's helping me. It's a natural laxative, so it kind of helps move things along, so she doesn't get backed up. I hate being backed up. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to steam some carrots. I'm going to show you how to cook the chicken, and I'm going to add some applesauce to the mixture, and that will be one of her meals. And like I said, I've tried these, and they're really good. And then in the end, it should look like this, in this nice little container. I'm going to put this back in the fridge before it goes bad. So here we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your carrots. I don't have any type of math when it comes to baby food making. Like, I kind of prefer more vegetables to fruit. I honestly, when I did the chicken yesterday, I cooked 2 chicken breasts and I quartered them. So for each batch, I used a half of a chicken because I didn't want too much chicken. She's only 9 months old. So I did a half a thing of chicken for each baby food batch that I did, which made about 4 containers, which was about 4 tablespoons. That's a lot of numbers for you. I don't know. Just don't get too specific with your baby food, because I think it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I'm not even that specific in my diet. So I'm going to do I'm going to do 4 carrots, about this size, and then half a chicken, and then a quarter cup of applesauce. Like I said, this is all natural. You don't want anything with sugar added because you don't want your baby having too much sugar. Unless you like that. I mean, it's your prerogative, but that's just what we are choosing to do. First, you're going to peel your carrots because, well, you don't know what's on the outside of these carrots. And it's just easier, and I think it's just better. So I'm going to just peel these real quick. Okay, so now that I have those peeled, I'm going to chop off the ends. And then we're just going to dice them up. The rule of thumb with carrots is that the smaller that you dice them, the faster they're going to cook. So if you aren't using a food processor and you're just using like a blender or like that type of baby food thing, I would dice them smaller so that they cook faster. I'm using a food processor, like I said, so I don't really have to worry about them being too soft. I just need them to be a little bit softer than what they are right now, raw. So now that we have our carrots diced, I am going to take you over to the stove now and show you what we are going to do with that. I'm going to cut this open because we're going to cook the chicken at the same time. Now we are going to put everything on, or start cooking everything. So what I'm going to do is I have 2 saucepans here. Like I said, if you're going to be steaming more, then you should use bigger saucepans. The advantage of steaming and baking is that it is known to be the best way of cooking vegetables and chicken and fruit because it retains the most nutrients. When you put them in the microwave just kills all those nutrients and stuff like that, so it's not as good, which is why they suggest you heat baby food in hot water and not microwave it. I'm not gonna lie, I tend to microwave mine a little bit to defrost it, but you know, we're not perfect. So do it however you want, but this is just the way that I chose to do it because it's just, I mean, it's supposed to be better, so of course I'm gonna do what's supposed to be better. So what I have here is just an old school steamer basket. You can find these relatively cheap anywhere, Target, Walmart, you know, wherever. They even make these new ones that have like these little hooks in the center to like pull it up, but I don't know where ours went. We lost ours, so this is actually my mom's that she gave me. I put a little bit of water at the bottom. You're gonna wanna use filtered water or bottled water, depending on what your water source is, because you're gonna use that water in your puree because the nutrients are gonna drop down into that water, so it's good to use that water. Then you're going to put your chicken breast, or 2. I did 2 last night in a bigger saucepan, so you can probably do more than that too. You're gonna fill up the water probably about 1 inch or 2 inches. Again, make sure it's filtered water because you're gonna use that water as well possibly for your puree. So if you're going to use it, then you're gonna want, you know, good water. When handling chicken, of course, always wash your hands because that's raw meat, and you don't want to be messing around with any type of diseases or illnesses caused by raw meat when you're dealing with baby food, so just keep that in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on our stove and we're going to put the pan lids on and we're going to let those just steam. We're going to check up on these every once. That's cool. So what I'm seeing is like a red rim and what you guys are seeing is purple. That's pretty awesome. John wants to see. Isn't that cool? Anyways, we're dorks. So we're going to let those sit. Obviously, keep an eye on your chicken because you're going to want to turn it every once in a while, and you don't want it to overflow because it is going to start boiling water. Same with your carrots. You're going to want to just keep checking on them. It shouldn't take any more than 15 minutes to cook all of this stuff, depending on what your heat setting is. But you just want to cook your carrots to the point where they're soft enough to grind or puree, in your opinion, with what you're using. And then with the chicken, you're going to want to flip it over, you know, as it's cooking, so that way it cooks on each side. And then before you take it out, make sure that it's cooked all the way through by cutting into the middle of it to make sure it's white all the way through and there's no pink. So what I usually do is I let it cook for like 5 minutes on each side, and then I cook it down, or I cut it down the center and let it cook for a little bit longer so the insides get cooked because they're kind of thick breasts, and then we'll go from there. It's been about, I don't know, like 10 minutes, and the carrots look pretty well done for what I need them to be at. Like I said, again, I'm going to repeat myself like 100 times so I remember what I said. Cook them as soft as you think that your, you know, whatever machine you're using or hand masher can handle. This is pretty much how soft I need them to be. If I can cut into them with like a soft, you know, rounded spoon, like if I can get one in half, then that means that it's soft enough for my food processor. So those are done. I'm going to put those aside. And then my chicken, like I said, towards the end I usually cut it in half just to make sure the insides get cooked. That is all white. I've checked the insides, they're pretty white, so that is gonna be done. So I'm gonna turn off that, and I'm gonna go over to my chopping board and cut them up. I'm gonna take my chicken out, and I'm actually, like I said, I'm only gonna use a half a breast for this meal, and the other half I'm gonna use for my lunch. Another advantage of cooking the chicken this way, not only does it, you know, keep the most nutrients, but it also is makes sure that it's nice and tender and soft, so that way when you cut it up and put it in your blender or your food processor, it blends really nicely. So I'm going to save that water just in case I need it. So I'm going to take a knife. I'm going to use this one for my salad. I'm going to take a knife, and I'm basically just going to make sure all the insides are cooked, which they are. And I'm going to cut this up into small chunks. So now I'm going to put this and my carrots and my applesauce into the food processor, and we're going to blend it away. Yes, you can continue making tacos. John's making tacos. I'm having a healthy chicken salad for lunch. He is having tacos from dinner last night. So I'm gonna put all the chicken in, and I'm gonna take my carrots and put those in my food processor. So we have our carrots and our chicken in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the chicken water, this yummy stuff right here. I'm going to pour some of that into the food processor. Not a lot, because Kaya doesn't need her puree to be super, super watery because she's a little bit older now, and this is going to thin it out as well. So I am only going to use a 1/4 cup of applesauce in there because I don't want it to be overly sweet, but that way it'll give it a little bit of sweetness, it'll thin it out a little bit, and it will also give some, like I said, natural laxative and also some fruit for her meal. So I'm going to add a 1/4 cup, which is probably about that much. I'm going to put the lid on, and then we're going to hit it. And every once in a while you're going to want to check the consistency of it and make sure everything's getting blended well. Obviously, John wants to show you his tacos. Okay. You're going to want to check the consistency. Obviously, this is a little bit too thick still, so we're going to add some more liquids. This time I'm going to use some of the carrot liquid juices. Or some of that in there. Or you can use breast milk. I should say that. You can use breast milk as well, but I'm not going to. We're going to put that back on. Alright guys, so it is done. I ended up adding a little bit more of the carrot water, and it looks great. Like I said, if you are doing this for a child who's younger, like maybe 6 months or 4 months or whatever, nix the chicken, because obviously I guess there's been studies saying that chicken is okay to add to a baby's diet. The sooner the better, because it equals out like their iron levels. But I'm not a doctor though, that's just what I've read, so don't quote me on that. But this mixture is for older babies, like 8 to 10 months or 8 to a year. That's why it's a little bit thicker. I left it a little bit thicker. If you want it thinner, obviously just puree it some more and add more water, or cook your carrots a little bit longer. That also helps. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in their containers. I like to just use like a big soup spoon, and because that's about a tablespoon, and I make all of mine about 4 tablespoons because that's how much she eats in a sitting. So. And I do use my Infantino system still, if you guys are wondering, my Squeeze-Ums. I did a review on those. I think that's in the video that I linked earlier. I do still use that, but I'm not going to use it for the chicken stuff because it's a little bit thicker, and I want her to get used to eating that through a spoon before I, do it in a squeezer. So I'm going to mark those, and I'm going to put them in the freezer to join the rest of their buddies. And like I said, I try everything before I give it to her, and I'm going to try this for you guys so that you're not like, oh, well, how do I know that doesn't taste like crap? It tastes like Thanksgiving. It's very good. So there you have it. That is how I make my baby food. Like I said, for younger kids, or when Kaya was first starting to eat baby food, I basically made it the exact same way, except for I didn't add chicken, and I pureed stuff a little bit longer and added more liquids, and I used breast milk. But now that she's older, I don't. So that is how I do it. I hope this was an okay video. Sorry, it's kind of bad. I hate making videos, but I love it at the same time. I love making the videos and uploading them and the responses I get, but I hate getting ready to do it because I'm so unorganized and it just takes a lot of time. That is my baby food spiel. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or leave comments below. Like I said, this is just the way that I do it. Everybody has their own way. Everybody's different. Some people like things more natural. Some people are probably scoffing at me right now for using applesauce instead of fresh apples, which I could have done, but just takes longer. Whatever, to each their own. But this is the way that I do it, and it's worked well for us, and we've saved lots of money doing it. We haven't bought baby food in a while, and it's been great, and Kaya seems to really enjoy it. So I will talk to you guys all later. I think that's pretty much it. If I forgot to say anything, I apologize, and I will answer your questions if I did. I'm going to try to record a cloth diaper update because we are still doing cloth diapers, and I was going to show you guys what we're doing still. Now that she is almost 10 months old, and I'll try to record that after this if I get a chance to. We're going out to dinner with my mom, so I might not, but I will try. I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.